internet, my name's Lave and this week I watched Insidious. So I've got to give a shout out to Prehistoric Wombat, thanks very much for the suggestion. Out of all of the films that I've seen, you've actually chosen one which I hadn't, so I had to track this one down. And I think that's because I'm not really a fan of the horror genre. I just feel that they're full of cliches, and if you've seen one, you've seen them all. And after watching Insidious, I have to say my opinion hasn't really changed. Having said that though, there were a couple of moments which did creep me out a little bit. There were a lot of jump scares, and on a technical level I thought it was constructed really well. So Insidious is directed by James Wan. Now he has made a career out of horror films. Don't believe me? Check this out. There's actually a lot I do admire about James Wan. He's a bit of a conglomerate when it comes to films. If he's not directing, he's a producer. He writes a lot of his films. He also gets involved with the editing as well. So yeah, a lot to admire. So back on point, Insidious is about a young family that have just moved into a new house. Patrick Wilson of Watchmen and the terrible A-Team remake stars as the dad. There's a blatant bit of foreshadowing with the dad. At the beginning, he's looking in the mirror and he pulls out a grey hair and he says a certain line. Yeah, I picked that up. Rose Byrne from Sunshine, Bridesmaids and X-Men First Class stars as the mum. Yeah, like Rose Byrne. So they've got 3 kids, the oldest of which is played by Ty Simpkins. Now I recognise him from Iron Man 3 and Jurassic World. I do think he's actually a good actor. Normally kid actors can derail things for me. Unfortunately for him in this film, he's in a coma for most of the time. And the other 2 kids are kind of shoved off to their grandparents' house, so you don't really see them much in this, which is probably a good thing. Having said that, the scenes that they were in, the middle brother I thought acted it quite well, and the baby sister just cries on cue. So Iron Man kid goes up into the attic, falls over, hits his head, a couple of days later falls into a coma. So at this point I thought it was taking the route of the haunted house story. In one of the many horror cliches that are in this film, things start getting moved, other stuff starts happening, freaks out the wife, so they decide to move. And it's at this point where they reveal that it's actually the kid who's being haunted and not the house. Now I actually thought that was some good misdirection, but then I watched the trailer in preparation for this review and they spoiled it in the trailer.
It's not the house that's haunted. It's your son.
Why would you do that? So this is revealed by a character called Elise, played by Lynn Shy. Every time I see her in a film, I can't help but think of... So she's accompanied by her 2 assistants, Speck and Tucker. They're 2 nerds and they're meant to be the comic relief, but I just found them annoying. They're so caricatured. I think they're also kind of paying homage to Ghostbusters in all of their technology and their kit, which they build themselves out of toys and stuff. I just found them a little bit annoying, and without going into too many spoilers, this trio helps them exorcise the demons. So yeah, I didn't think Insidious broke new grounds in the horror genre. I literally sat there the whole time just counting the horror cliches. From objects being moved inexplicably, from books on shelves to creepy kids' toys, to muffled voices over baby monitors, shadowy figures walking or standing in windows or mirrors, old photos that reveal a horrific truth from the past, to kids' drawings hinting at the end of the film, an exorcism scene, mannequin-like figures you're not sure are alive or not. Now, I'm not saying that they're ineffective, just cliched and maybe a bit cheesy. And the director also employed this technique. I think he removes a couple of frames from here and there, so there's a bit of a jump, particularly with the mannequin-esque figures. They're standing there emotionless, and then all of a sudden, I just found those bits a bit funny, because on the day of filming, it must have been like, okay, Gary, now stand still, stand very still, now smile, excellent, excellent acting, Gary. Yeah, it must have been. So that's my thoughts on Insidious, and pause the video now if you want to check out my enjoyment tracker. As I say, Insidious didn't really break new grounds for me. I do feel like I've seen it before. Having said that, I think it's a very technically well put together film. But there is an age-old argument when it comes to horror films, in that some people think that you shouldn't actually see the ghost or the witch or whatever the antagonist of the film is. And then you get the other side of the argument where people do want to see it and do find that frightening. I personally prefer it when it's left to the imagination, more akin to the Blair Witch Project. I found that much scarier. But then horror is subjective, and if you like those type of films, then great. And I think Insidious is actually probably one of the better ones. I'd love to force my parents to watch this. It would be absolutely hilarious. So thanks very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Either way, tell me in the comments. So I have a question for my subscribers this week. I'm going to go to the cinema on Friday, but I haven't decided which one I'm going to see. I have the option of going to see Eye in the Sky. I think it's a thriller about drones. Or I can go and see The Jungle Book, which is The Jungle Book. Let me know which one you think I should see in the comments. Bye. Subscribe.